right, so we'll jump in. In addition to us managing the scholarship and it being online, there will be a few additional changes this year, which we'll try to review today and address any questions to make things more clear for everyone. One of the biggest changes, other than the application being online, is that there will be two separate applications this year. One will be the Indus Cares High School Scholarship, which is a scholarship for 9th, 10th, and 11th graders to save for college. They could be awarded funding to use in the future. And then there's also the Indus Cares College Scholarship, which will be for current and incoming college students for the upcoming academic year. So we'll go into both of those programs in more depth. We will also address all the eligibility requirements that are included, and then Marie will provide us with a demo of the site so you can see how it all works. It's pretty user-friendly, we think. So first of all, the Indus Cares High School Scholarship is for children of full-time employees and contractors of Indus Management Group. And you have to have been working with the company for at least 90 days as of the application deadline, which this year will be June 30th. The applicant needs to be a current 9th, 10th, or 11th grader for this current 2021-22 academic year, with a minimum GPA of 2.0 on a 4.0 scale. And there can only be 2 applicants per family per year. Once the student receives the scholarship, they do have to maintain at least a 2.0 GPA and be enrolled full-time while they're in college. And so the high school award is $750, and students are eligible to reapply multiple years as long as they meet the eligibility requirement. Once they do go to college, they'll have within 2 years of graduating high school to utilize that funding for college, and the check will be mailed directly to their college or university. And next is the Indus Cares College Scholarship. This one is a little bit bigger, more inclusive. This includes employees, spouses and partners of employees, as well as children of employees. And to apply, you'll need to be a graduating high school senior or equivalent, or a previous high school graduate, or a current college or graduate student. Also with a 2.0 on a 4.0 scale, and there can also be only 2 applications per family per year for this scholarship as well. And once receiving the scholarship, recipients will need to be enrolled full-time in college. That would be usually about 12 hours per semester, or graduate school with about 9 hours per semester. And this award is $2,000. Will also be sent directly to the school, and students are able to reapply as many years as they meet the eligibility requirements. And so when it's time to apply, everyone will need some basic information, information on the family member who's an employee. There's an essay associated with both applications. And then applicants will also need to submit academic transcripts. We need it to be electronic and it's submitted through the site, so it's fine for it to be an unofficial transcript. And now to the real meat of our presentation today, we'll go to ghcfscholar.org, which is where both applications are housed. And Marie will walk us through both applications. So I'll turn it over to her now.
Awesome, thank you, Courtney. I'm going to get my screen pulled up. All right, wonderful. Can you all see? Okay, wonderful. Well, as Courtney mentioned, to access both applications, you'll want to go to ghcfscholar.org. And once you visit our homepage, you'll be brought to this front site right here. You can read a little bit more about GHCF Scholar. Something I do want to point out on the homepage is this Scholarship Applicant Users Guide in the top left corner. This is a great resource in case you have any questions navigating the applications online, since I know this is a new process. So this is a great reference in case you need. But once you are ready to get started with the applications, you'll come on over to the top right corner of your screen and click on Register to create an account. You'll create an email, or you'll use an email, create a password, and get into your account that way. If you already have an account, if you've ever applied for something on GHCF Scholar before, you can click on Log In and fill out your login credentials and go in from there. I do have an account already and I am logged in, so I'm just going to switch on over to this other tab. And once you do log in, you'll be brought to a homepage that looks like this. So from here, you're able to search for your different scholarships. So you can utilize the search bar right here. And I'm just going to type in Indus Cares and click Enter. and then you'll see the two different scholarships pop up. So we'll be doing a demo of both applications today, but we'll get started with the high school scholarship application first. So you'll want to click on More. And on the next page, you can read a little bit more about the eligibility criteria and award information. As Courtney mentioned, since this is a newer process with two different applications, we want to make sure that you or your student or whoever is applying to the correct application. So for high school students, you'll want to make sure that you are a current 9th, 10th, or 11th grader. And once you've confirmed your eligibility, you'll click on the blue Apply button to get started. So once in the application, you'll see that it is a series of tasks to complete. And as each task is completed, this bar on the left-hand side will update, showing progress throughout the application. This first task must be completed in order for the other tasks to pop up. So we'll go ahead and get started with the first task right here. Once again, this is just verifying eligibility. We want to make sure that if you're spending time filling out an application, it's the right one. So the first few questions we'll fill out will be for high school students. Is your parent or guardian an employee or contractor for Indus Management Group? They'll want to select yes. And then just a reminder that this is a scholarship to save for the future, and they'll want to indicate their class status for the 2021-22 academic year. So if they're still in school right now, what grade are they in right now? Or if they just finished and are in summer, what were they just in for their grade? So they'll want to indicate 9th, 10th, or 11th grade. If they do select 12th grade, that is technically a wrong answer, so it will kick them out of the application and send them an email letting them know that they're actually possibly eligible for the college application instead. But let's say that this is a most recent or current 10th grader. We'll click that option, and then you'll click Mark as Complete on the task. And once that first task is completed, the other ones will pop up and you'll have access to them. So we'll go ahead and move over to the essay portion of the application. For high school students, they'll need to complete one essay question, and they have the choice of two different questions to respond to. So they'll just select whichever essay response they want to respond to. You'll notice the question does change depending on whichever one they selected. And then they can complete their essay response in the text box below. The great thing about this online application is if they're not ready to complete an essay right then and there, that's completely okay. For each task, you can always scroll to the bottom of the page and click Save and continue editing. And that'll save everything thus far. That way, applicants can step away and come back to fill it out whenever they're ready. Next, as Courtney mentioned, all applicants will need to upload a transcript. It doesn't have to be official. It can be unofficial. We just ask that it does include the applicant's name, their school name, and their cumulative GPA. So to do so, you'll click Attach File, and you'll go ahead and select whichever transcript your transcript is saved under, wherever it is on your computer. And once it's uploaded, you do have the option to preview your document. Just confirm that it is your transcript that you've uploaded, and then click Mark as Complete. And once again, you'll see that the green check mark does appear for tasks that have been completed. The next task is employer affiliation. This section will have to do with the employee or contractor's information. And the next task after that is personal information. So this section has to do with the student's information themselves. And then lastly is an education information task. Right here, the student will fill out their high school information and once again indicate their current class status as of the 2021-22 year. So whether they were just in or currently in 9th grade, 10th grade, or 11th grade. And then they'll also put their GPA right here. And once all of these tasks are complete, and this blue bar is all the way full of 6 out of 6 tasks, the review and submit buttons will pop up. At that time, students can click on review, make sure that everything is complete and filled out properly, and then go ahead and click the submit button to officially turn it in. Now, most applicants will be in fact, all applicants will be eligible for one scholarship or the other. So they won't necessarily be applying for 2 at the same time. But since we'll be doing 2 different demos today, I'm going to go back to the home page and click on programs. That way we can access the college application from there. So once again, you can type in Indus Cares, select the college application, and click on More. And now you can read through the eligibility criteria once more, confirm that you are an incoming college student or a current college student, confirm any other information here that is applicable, and once again click apply to go ahead and get started. You'll see some familiar tasks in the college application, similar to the ones that were in the high school application, but we do want to go over a few differences between the two. So once again, you'll fill out the first task just to confirm eligibility. And so in this one, you'll be confirming if you are the employee or your spouse, partner, or child, if that is relevant to you, your relationship to the employee, and just make sure that that is accurate. It also has the employee information right here just to confirm that that is all accurate. You'll select yes. And then you'll indicate the applicant's relationship to the employee. So if you, the employee, are applying, you'll select self. If you are the spouse or partner of the employee, you'll select spouse or partner. And then if it's the child applying, select child. And once again, the college application is for students who are either a graduating high school senior, so they just graduated this recent spring semester, or will be graduating in the coming weeks, a previous high school graduate, or a current college student, whether that's undergrad or graduate. So for this question, if you select one of these three, you'll proceed through the application. If they are a college or a current high school student, this is also technically a wrong answer. So similar to the last application, it'll kick you out and kind of initiate the email to encourage you to fill out the high school application instead. So we'll select one of the correct answers and click Mark as complete. And once again, all of the other tasks will open up at that time. A few other differences for the college application, there are actually 2 essay responses to complete. So rather than selecting the question, you can see the 2 different questions here, and students and applicants can fill out their essay response in the text box below. Once again, you can always scroll to the bottom and click Save and continue editing. Some familiar tasks you'll see are the transcript, employer affiliation, and personal information. Those are identical to the other applications, so we'll skip over those. But we will show the education information. This one will be pertaining to the college or university info rather than the high school. Students and applicants can indicate their fall status, so what they'll be in the upcoming fall 2022 semester. If they're an incoming freshman, they will have a little section to fill out high school information, but any other status will just indicate your college or university info, your graduation info, and your current cumulative GPA. And then the last difference on the college application is that there is a resume section. So we'll go through that one together. Rather than uploading a personal resume, we have a built-out resume on the application itself for applicants to fill out. You'll notice that there are several different sections. There's volunteer and community service, school activities, athletics, and employment. And then there's also a section for honors and awards and other activities here below. We encourage applicants to fill this out as thoroughly as possible. In fact, we encourage all of the tasks to be filled out as thoroughly as possible. That way we can best get to know you when reviewing your application. So we'll go ahead and do a demo of this one together since it looks a little bit different. Let's say that the applicant has volunteered at a community food bank. You'll want to indicate the activity here in this first column, and then you'll scroll over and indicate the length of participation. So let's say applicant has volunteered there for the past year and when you most recently participated. So if you're pretty consistent, last time you were there was maybe the past month, you'll select within last 0 to 3 months. So for each activity throughout all these sections, be sure to scroll over and complete those other 2 columns as well. And we know the past few years have looked different recently, so we encourage applicants to fill this out with any activities that they participated in over the past 4 years. These can be in-person activities as well as any virtual activities. And once again, at the very end, when you're finished filling all of this out, you can scroll to the bottom and click Mark as complete. And you can always check your progress throughout your application here on this update bar. And once everything is finished, you'll click Review and Submit to officially turn in your application. So that completes our 2 demos of the applications. Before I hand it back over to Courtney, do you have any questions? Feel free to put them in the chat or unmute yourself and ask any questions that you may have about the applications online. We'll have time at the end as well in case any other questions come up.
Thank you, Marie. I can switch us back over to our PowerPoint now.
Absolutely.
Great. We're almost finished. Just a few more tips and tricks to share on the application process. We do recommend that the applicant uses their own application email address. So if your child or spouse or partner is applying, we encourage them to use their own email. And we usually recommend if they don't use a school email, if they use something like a Gmail, some personal email address, usually works best. Occasionally school email servers will block the reminder emails that come in through the site. So that's always helpful. And we do send out all communication via email, including award notifications. We want to make sure that we can get in touch with the scholarship applicants and recipients. We recommend starting the application as soon as possible. It did go live this week, so it's available now. Don't forget that transcripts must be uploaded. They can't be emailed in or mailed to us. That goes really for all of the tasks. Everything has to be submitted through the site. And as Marie showed you, you actually can't hit submit until everything has been uploaded. So we do encourage students to make sure that they complete all of the tasks. Occasionally someone will fill everything out and forget to hit submit, and we are only able to review applications that are completed and submitted. So please be sure that the applications do get submitted. You'll receive email confirmation once it goes through, and you can even call or email us to confirm that the application has been submitted, and we're happy to confirm with you. There's also a user's guide you'll see on the toolbar of the scholarship site with kind of a PDF going through how to create an account, how to navigate the application. So if you have any questions with kind of the technical details, that's a great place to start. Next, we have the timeline for the application process. The application is live currently and will close on June 30th. It closes at 11:59 p.m. Central Daylight Time. And then during the month of July, the scholarships will be reviewed. We have an external review committee that reviews all the applications, actually online through the same portal, but we do hide the personal information so it can be a blind review process to be as fair and equitable as possible. And then late in July, the scholarship award winners will be announced. We'll communicate via email and let applicants know either way whether they receive the scholarship or not. And then for those that do receive the scholarship, we will ask them to fill out some additional information, confirm where they're going to school, and then we'll be able to mail their scholarship check directly to their college or university. And finally, we have our contact information here to call or email us. Marie and I are here to provide customer service to you or the student in your family, and are really happy to help throughout this application process. I'll go ahead and stop sharing my screen so that we can just jump in for any questions we're happy to address now.
Hey guys, any questions? There's no question too small.
I think there's some in the chat box.
So I've answered, let's see. So the scholarship for grades 5 through 8, we're not doing them this year just due to having to set this up and the mechanics of it. But we'll look at maybe in future years if we can bring it back. And then right now it's limited to kind of immediate families. It would just be really hard for us to verify, everybody's family members and extended families. So at this time, it would be kind of we kind of did partner or spouse. I don't want to leave, different domestic arrangements out. And then also kids. So just to make it really clean cut. It was getting a little more complicated because I was getting friends applying in past years. So it's a lot. Any other questions?
Yeah, I see another question here. What if you submit your application and receive the scholarship, but you change schools? That's not a problem at all. That's actually why we have students confirm once they've been selected as recipients where they're going to attend college, so that once we know for sure where they're going, then we'll send the check. So that's all confirmed over the summer.
And the checks aren't going to go directly to employees anymore. It's going to go to the schools. So that's kind of one of the bigger changes for this year, but I think it's, going to be for the best, and it ensures that we can keep doing this for many, many years forward as we continue to grow. And one of my favorite features is you don't have to wait for me to get back to you anymore because they have a helpline and the email to contact. And I've talked to Sergio, so the emails, when you get reminders from their system, it should not go to spam. I mean, always keep an eye on your spam folders in general in case, you know, Michael's emails go to spam. But I talked to Sergio to just sort of accept their contact so you guys don't have to necessarily worry about missing their communications. But that'll be sort of your first point of contact for any questions. Honestly, at this point, after these calls, I'm not going to be doing very much with the program, just making sure at the back end that I verify your employment. That's it. So please ask Courtney and Marie any questions. They are happy to help.
There's a question asked from someone, by having the checks going to the schools for high school, it's a public school, there's no tuition. How is that money handled by the school? Are they going to give it to the applicant to use for their books or supplies, or how does that work?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the high school scholarship is a scholarship that high school students can apply for while they're in college to set aside the money for college. So they'll actually be able to receive it once they graduate high school and begin attending college. So we'll track, $750 every time they receive that. And then the year they actually enroll in college, it will be sent directly to their college or university. So yeah, great question. I know that's a little different from how it worked in the past.
Oh, you guys did such a nice presentation. You've stunned them into silence. Michael, is there anything just from, or anybody from past years of the scholarship that you want to highlight or point out that you think would be helpful?
We've tried to make it pretty easy for everyone to access the actual application. And so if you'll notice on Grace Hill, one of the banners will have the QR codes that your team can snap a picture and it'll take them directly to the application. We'll also upload that into Paycom and also send series of emails to you and your teams as well. If you can think of any other place that you're like, wow, it'd be more convenient if we could have it X, Y, and Z, let us know. We'll be happy to put that there as well.
Yeah, and please print them out and keep them in your office. That way, any of your teams that aren't kind of near a computer during the day can snap a picture or take a flyer with the QR code home.
So another question is, what if an employee wants to do some continuing education and go to a junior college for the next, so many semesters, or do they need to be a full-time student, or can they just take a course every semester?
So the college, oh, go ahead, Courtney.
Yeah, the college scholarship does include community college or trade schools, but it is for full-time students.
If there's an arrangement, though, we've talked about it, that you're considering a part-time student kind of arrangement, we can talk about it and see if it will fulfill the requirements for the scholarship. But we did put 9 hours, which generally is fairly reasonable for like an evening MBA type program or most like evening program requirements. But if you're not sure in the program you're looking at, just send an email and at least Courtney can kind of look through it and see. It's always best to just make contact and ask the question for sure. I know we've gotten some questions in the past too for CAM and some of these other certification programs. We do have the Indus tuition benefit program for employees that we've kind of pointed people to for these certification programs specifically. And that one's your best bet just because I think it'll be the best option. So I'm happy to send those forms along, but if you're looking at some different program, you can kind of consider both and see. But we've kind of pointed people to the tuition benefits program in the past because it'll have kind of more direct benefit to your job and then eventually to your kind of career trajectory at Indus and growing with the company. That way they can keep track and they make sure that we're keeping track of that, you know, when you're moving up in the company.
I see another question in the chat to see if the scholarship can be used towards paying off college debt. Unfortunately, scholarships can only go towards tuition. They can't be used towards debt.
So if a property manager wants to go for property manager course certification by Houston Apartment Association, can they apply for that?
So we would prefer that they use the tuition benefits program that Indus already has. That way HR is able to track their progress and make sure that they're considering that, you know, in their future with the company, you know, with their salary, that they've got this accreditation and that they're logging it. But if it's a full-time program and it fits the criteria for the scholarship, I know some people are doing like night school or MBAs. That's more what the scholarship is for. I'm happy to send along though the tuition benefits forms to all of you guys, so that way you can refer to it first, and it may be the better fit, just so that HR knows that you're doing these programs and can factor it in. And I don't know too much about CAM programs specifically, but I know other people have asked the question, so hopefully we can get a resource out there for that one. I think there are some people who have looked at the program. So maybe this is the year, Michael, that you will learn Spanish. Every year I try, every year I failed.
I know a lot of the Spanish, all of the naughty words, but that's about it.
Well, I think this is everything. Thank you guys for joining. I'm going to put this recording also in Grace Hill, and that way if anyone missed the call, they can refer to this. And Thursday's call will be Spanish/English friendly. So I don't know that it's going to be entirely in Spanish, but we wanted to make it kind of Spanish language friendly so that questions and other concerns can be addressed. And that way Heidi will also be joining us, and Courtney also speaks Spanish. So that way we're not leaving anybody else out.
Yeah, so teachers, I would say encourage all your maintenance crew to also listen to it if it's in Spanish. You know, instead of translating everything again back to them and miss something out, especially if they can attend it. It's only a 30-minute session, so please do so.
And remember, you have the email and the phone lines. People can get their questions answered. So I think there'll be a lot of support this year, and let's try to get a lot of applications in. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, guys.
Thank you.